Hello again and welcome to Pearl Magazine. Chinese New Year is the most important business season for Chinese restaurants in Hong Kong. However, with many Hong Kongers going to cheaper eateries in the mainland, some local Chinese restaurant operators are cautious about the prospects during the festive season. Reporter Alice Khan checks out how local restaurateurs and hoteliers are trying their luck to increase their business at the beginning of the Lunar New Year. The dragon is a symbol of power and abundance, and this Chinese New Year is the first one since the reopening of the border. This restaurant owner, Thomas Wu, hopes to have more business this festive season, but he is disappointed.
During the pre-COVID period, clients booked the tables 1 to 2 months ahead. Now the booking's not allowed. But family gatherings for reunion dinners are a must. They probably booked the table later.
This is the right time to all the people together. That's why I prefer to stay in Hong Kong.
Chinese restaurant per person 300 for dinner.
This family also prefers to stay in Hong Kong during Chinese New Year.
More preferred for the Chinese restaurant. Yeah, even for the lunch or dinner, around 3 to 400 per head.
Too time consuming for transportation between Hong Kong Island and mainland. So we seldom go to mainland China for dinner.
2-3千蚊咯，都幫助下香港經濟啦。
Thomas also says corporates and organizations spent less on Chinese New Year and meals.
Some companies used to book 3 to 5 tables. Now only 1 to 2 tables. Probably the year-end bonus is not allowed. Hong Kong and global economy is not good. So everyone is tightening their budget. Spring dinner business from organizations are better. But still, the number of tables shrank. In the past, they would have 50 tables. Now it is only 30 tables. Our spring dinner business dropped 20% to 30%.
Simon Wong, president of the Hong Kong Federation of Restaurants, says most Chinese restaurants face the same problems.
Before COVID, the average spending for a table in a Chinese restaurant for this kind of celebration would reach around 7,000 to 8,000 per table. But now the spending has come down to average around 6,000. That means the overall proceed for this kind of business has dropped.
Some people, like this man, are traveling to Malaysia during Chinese New Year.
得家食嘢就外國平啲，平好多，質素都係外國啲好啲。香港啲嘢麻麻地嘅嘢嘅，成年翻屋企食㗎啦，我哋唔會出邊食㗎啦，慳翻好多嘅。
Chinese New Year has a long holiday, and we have few days which attract people to go to other places. Then all the money would go to other places during the New Year. We see that the number of people going out reach more than 1 million. Then our business in the catering sector has been greatly affected.
There are so many choices in Shenzhen. We're talking about a dinner or a lunch which involves 4 to 5 people. In Hong Kong, I think you need to pay 2,000 to 3,000, but in Shenzhen, I think it's 1,000 and 1,000 something. Better dining environment. Come from Hong Kong, and then very crowded. Some restaurants even restricted, hey, I'll not give you 1 hour for lunch, unbelievable, and 2 hours for dinner. I think it's too rushed.
Thomas Wu tries to offer reasonably priced meals to attract clients, but the price can't compete with those in the Greater Bay Area cities.
Salary is high, food cost is high, and the sauce is in shortage. It is very difficult for us. Our price is very reasonable. We have a lot of varieties: lobsters, abalone, and crab claws. They are value for money. Now we try to sell more. We are not making money. We just want to minimize loss.
Chinese restaurants and hotels also rely on tourists, particularly mainland Chinese tourists. According to government data, 34 million tourists came to Hong Kong in 2023, whereas there were more than 60 million before COVID. The government is now planning parades and fireworks to attract more tourists to Hong Kong during Chinese New Year. Although there is a shortage of tourists, some very high-end Chinese restaurants and 5- and 6-star hotels will likely fare better during the festive season. Aiden Chung, Director of Operations for this high-end hotel group, says the occupancy rate is 90%. He says he is doing more to attract tourists and locals to spend in their hotel.
Aiden, this chicken decoration is very special. It's made of flour.
Yes, I'm glad you noticed. It's actually homemade.
It's homemade?
For Chinese New Year this year, we had our florist team to come up with something, and hopefully we can attract additional guests from outside. The Year of the Dragon, very auspicious. Yeah, so that's why we have it made from different plants which are in season, different flowers. Yeah, and it became like the most photogenic spot in the hotel.
Do you think it will help to bring more business to those?
I definitely think it would bring more business.
Aiden says he thinks their decorations will attract more clients to their Michelin-starred Chinese restaurant. He says the hotel won't be affected by the exodus of Hong Kongers to other cities.
The restaurant bookings are looking very promising. Our local guests leaving Hong Kong for the restaurants, we can actually fill them up with our mainland guests. The brand is a very strong brand in mainland China. Over half of our portfolio is in mainland China. So whenever they come to Hong Kong, it would be a natural choice to choose their preferred restaurant.
Executive Chef Raymond Wong showed us his special Chinese New Year menu.
Chef, is it snake soup?
Alice, if I don't tell you, you will think this is a snake soup. Actually, it's a 50-euro orange peel with fish maw and chicken strips.
Where did you get the inspiration from?
The inspiration comes from snake soup, but now people seldom consume wild animals, so I use chicken meat to replace snake meat. And we add the expensive 50-euro orange peels and fish maw. We insist to use the best ingredient in our products.
He also curated this dish.
Is it a chicken nugget?
No, it is not a chicken nugget, it is a deep-fried scallop. Stir-fried scallop is very common in Cantonese cuisine. Because of Chinese New Year, we use auspicious name, so we call this a home filled with gold and silver nuggets. And we use XO sauce to stir-fry other scallops. And put the other scallops with breadcrumbs and egg yolks, and then we deep-fry it to golden color, like a gold nugget and silver nuggets.
This platter, originating from Malaysia and Singapore, is called lo hei. The translation is tossing luck, but the meaning is your luck is rising.
We insisted on purchasing the ingredients from Malaysia, for example, dried clementine, sweet winter melons, carrot strips, turnip strips.
Raymond says we need to say a mantra before tossing the ingredients for luck.
Lo hei lo hei.
Lo hei lo hei.
撈到風生水起。
撈到風生水起。
In Malaysia, the vibe is more vibrant. They would toss the ingredients high in the air.
Aiden says the hotel will have a huge lo hei in the lobby for clients to toss or raise their luck.
We have very high hopes for another promising year. And so for this lobby, during the Chinese New Year, we will set this up for our giant dragon lo hei. So along the length of this entire lobby, the dragon will be set up. This is also the same venue for our acrobatic shows. in our hotel lobby, and as well the shimmering LED light dragon, which will be running its way across the lobby.
Simon Lee says high-end hotels fare better during challenging times.
Some hotel in Hong Kong, they have the Michelin star restaurant. Okay, this is quite unique and can't be replaced easily by some other restaurant in other city. There are some loyal customer in the hotel for the say 3-star, 4-star hotel. I think they suffer quite a lot because those are normal type and people have many choices in other places.
If we compare the business for this type of business before COVID or today, I would see that we can only reach about 85% or maximum 90% of the business.
When we come back, investing in the Middle East for Hong Kong businesses. Stay with us. Welcome back to Pearl Magazine. After Chief Executive John Lee's visit to the Middle East last year, the region has been a hotspot for Hong Kong business and investment. Zella Chin learns more about the risks and rewards of investing in the Middle East at the Asian Financial Forum.
即係銀行個 kiosk 嗰度做啦喎。
Emil Chan is a veteran in the finance industry. Now he mentors and advises fintech startups. And he works closely with Cyberport, a center for entrepreneurship. On this day, Emil attends the Asian Financial Forum at the Convention Center in Wan Chai to reconnect with fellow finance professionals.
It's a place to meet friends and capture new updates. Very important because particularly after COVID, we cannot see each other.
He is interested in learning more about the business opportunities in the Middle East to better advise the fintech startups. In the past, the startups would expand their business to the US or the UK.
Because China and America are not friends anymore. So the Hong Kong as a financial hub or the so-called super connector, we need to find new marketplaces. And Middle East is the place in terms of population size, in terms of their policies to promote fintech development.
And he thinks people from the Middle East could be potential investors for some of the startups.
They are cash rich as the oil supplier. Okay, at the moment, the Asian countries or also the Western country, there's a downturn of economy. So particularly in my area, fintech startups, they need a lot of funding.
The Middle East countries are part of China's Belt and Road Initiative, a global infrastructure development strategy. An economist for the Trade Development Council says China's invested $28 billion in the Middle East in 2022.
And they span across various sectors, including, of course, the energy-related sector and also infrastructure sector. And increasingly, sectors like healthcare, pharmaceutical, telecommunication also follow.
And he says trade between China and the Middle East is vibrant. In 2022, Sino-Middle East trade totaled more than $500 billion, which is 4 times more than 15 years ago.
From the Middle East, China imports a lot of oil and gas-related products, and at the same time, China exports a lot of industrial products, equipment, machinery to the Middle East.
And meetings between President Xi Jinping and leaders of countries in the Middle East strengthen the relationship between the two regions.
It gives rise to more opportunities for the private sector to work on their projects, with the endorsement from the government on both sides.
The most devastating phase of the pandemic.
Many developing and middle-income economies, including Egypt,
The Egyptian Minister of Finance is one of the guest speakers at the Asian Financial Forum. This is Dr. Mohammed Mait's first visit to the SAR, and he wants to attract more foreign direct investment into his country.
One of the areas which we are exploring here in Hong Kong, how to facilitate more FDIs coming from Hong Kong and China. Eventually, we're looking for growth. We're looking to create jobs.
Egypt has a population of about 115 million people, with the median age of 24 years old. And the country is a part of China's Belt and Road Initiative.
I see the China interest in Egypt and the investment in Egyptian economy is growing very fast. We see the Chinese industrial zone and the Suez Canal economic zone. We see China is the largest exporter to Egypt by far. We have imports from China close to 12 billion US dollars in any financial year.
Egypt is working on creating an environment that is attractive to foreign investors.
We have, for example, investment law which allow people to recover up to 50% of their capital expenditure back from deducted from the taxes they are paying.
And the Minister of Finance hopes that Hong Kong can help his country to develop.
So with Hong Kong, we are here to see how can we make cooperation in different aspects, tourism, Ministry of Finance, also financial markets. I will see the possibility to issue bonds here in the Hong Kong capital markets.
Some risk of investing in the Middle East include the instability of the region. Right now, the Middle East has two geopolitical conflicts, the Houthi attacks in the Red Sea and the Israel-Hamas war.
I know that the geopolitical tension and the current problems might be a matter of concern for investors, but we can assure investors that Egypt is keeping calm, is trying to ensure stability, is trying to ensure that things in Egypt and around Egypt will be moving in the right direction.
Since Middle East is not a small area, so the conflict in one area may only affect a small portion of the region. I do believe that the opportunities are more than the risk. I'll ask them to contact me.
Okay.
Emil advises Andre Leung's company. He recently expanded his business to the Middle East. Andre has 25 years of experience in risk management in the finance industry. 4 years ago, he started his own fintech startup and works closely with regulators. Andre developed technology that financial institutions can use to perform due diligence checks on potential customers.
So for example, we have a native Arabic name, which we can punch in into the name field, and immediately you will see that there's some results. So what's going on behind the scene is to check against a large database, to check many different lists, whether they hit any blacklist or sanction list or PEP, etc. And here we go, you see the result here, and we see that we actually have one case, which is called sanction.
So this customer might be a potential problem?
Yes, exactly. So this could be the customer with similar name. It may not be the same person because there may be other person with the same name, but happen that the other person with the same name is under sanction. So this will also be flagged by the financial institution to do a further enhanced due diligence.
He says other products on the market check against English language databases, whereas his technology specializes in languages such as Chinese and Arabic. One of his clients is a financial institution in Saudi Arabia.
My impression of, let's say, Saudi Arabia, they are actually very tech savvy. They really have the passion to adopt more fintech into their entire ecosystem, all the way with the government support, and also the open-mindedness of the fintech adoption of those senior management from the financial institution.
And he has to be mindful of their Islamic customs when collaborating with the Saudis.
So if they, let's say, having a business trip in Hong Kong, we have to also go extra mile to think about where you're going to have the appropriate meal for them. So halal meal, and because they have to follow some strict timing in terms of prayer, so it could happen in the middle of some important formal meetings. And we also have to pay respect for them to take some time out and have to pray for a short period of time.
Andre prefers settling payments with his international clients in US dollars. But he started accepting renminbi from his Saudi client to facilitate trading.
It was a challenge before that we only accept US dollar as the only currency for trade. And the mutual acceptance of the renminbi, actually alleviated some of the challenges.
Andre advises other startups to find someone with experience conducting business in the Middle East to help make the right introductions.
There's some really experienced entrepreneurs who have been doing business with the Middle East in the past 40, 50 years. They are now retired, but they now became our advisor to could help us to build the connections, which are priceless, to really reach to the right level of people, the decision maker in the Middle East.
He says at the end of the day, doing business with countries in the Middle East is no different than any other region.
So that as long as we nurture the relationship, respect the culture, and also understand the business acumen, then I would say that doing business in Hong Kong or Singapore or Japan or Middle East, they're actually quite common, and because they are really professional.
As for Hong Kong's competitive advantage in the future of Sino-Middle East economic and financial relations?
From listing, from green finance, Islamic finance to fintech, I think the city is very much ready to see and to welcome the increasing trade and investment flow between China and the Middle East.
That's our show for this week. Join us on Pearl Magazine, same time next week. Bye for now.